Levi, thanks for coming on, man. And
Yeah, of course.
man, I know I came on to you guys right away when I started the Best in BA competition, and seeing your guys' social media and seeing how you were sharing and supporting the community, and that was super cool to me. So, man, I would just love if you just jump in, share a bit about what you do. It's such a unique business, and I'm sure people think gymnastics. People think, what do you do, and
Sure.
how long you been doing it?
Yeah. So what we do at TumbleSmart is we teach tumbling. So people can use it for whatever discipline they want, whether it's cheerleading, gymnastics. We have a lot of recreational kids that come in that just want to learn how to do flips. But our primary focus is teaching tumbling and really helping kids to build confidence through the sport of tumbling. Really, we use tumbling as the vehicle in order to build confidence and really help kids grow their self-esteem and things of that nature through the sport of tumbling. And so the way that I personally got into it, I grew up in gymnastics gyms and cheer gyms my whole life, and my favorite part of those sports were the tumbling portion of it specifically. And when I graduated high school in 2010, I graduated from Union High School, I grew up on 91st in Aspen, for the people that really know Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
Quail Run Edition was the neighborhood that I grew up in. But I was right on the corner of the Union School District and Broken Arrow School District. So if you go across the street on Aspen or across the street of 91st, then you're in Broken Arrow. So like right there on that corner. So I ended up going to Union High School, graduated there in 2010. When I graduated from there, a gym owner approached me about being a tumbling coach at this gym that was opening up. Twist and Shout was the name of the gym, which is still there. It's in Tulsa off of 61st and Memorial. But so they gave me the opportunity to start my tumbling coaching career there, and was there for a couple of years, and then broke away from there, started doing freelance training, and grew a pretty big following here locally, just as far as my customer base and people that would come to me, whether I was at a church, a park, someone's backyard, like wherever I could teach tumbling at, that's where I was, and people would follow me. And then when I got to the place of having enough people that I was coaching, then I opened up TumbleSmart in 2015, and so we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
So you've been in that space since 2015, or?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Are you talking about like that particular building?
Yeah, that building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the way that I ended up there was when I was looking to open my gym, I believe I was 22 or 23, super young, had no money, had no credit, had nothing to show for that I could handle a lease. So when I went to these different realtors or landlords, I just didn't really I wasn't able to show that I would be able to maintain it, right? So it was really difficult for me to find a building at first. I went to dozens and dozens of different buildings in Tulsa, Glenpool, Owasso. Like I was looking everywhere. I was like, I just need to find a building, right? Which I was really happy to end up here in Broken Arrow, because this is truly where I wanted to be. But I was like, I got to open up this gym, so wherever someone will take me, that's where I'll go. But I ended up meeting this awesome landlord, Lynn Manser, which he's got a few buildings here in the Broken Arrow area. And he basically just took me on a handshake. Like when I met him, he just had, that intuition, a good feeling that I would be a good tenant within his building. So he was like, hey, man, we'll start with a 6-month lease, which is absolutely crazy, because usually for commercial space, it's like maybe bare minimum 3 years. It's like 3 to 6 or beyond that. So he was like, hey, let's do 6 months. If it works out, awesome. If not, you're not locked down for this crazy long-term lease. So we started with that 6-month lease, and been there ever since.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I mean, that's a true testament to just like somebody believing in you, counting on you. And I mean, I moved to Broken Arrow in June, And that's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is I've seen the giving nature, I think, of people in Broken Arrow. Not that
Absolutely.
Minnesota doesn't have it, but here it's just different. It really is. And just the community rallying around each other, which I wanted to segue to this. I wanted to give you, so this is a coffee shop, actually. They're in Broken Arrow. It's called Not Your Average Joe's. So they employ people with intellectual learning disability, special needs,
Love
and
that.
they're an amazing place. And so they're not a sponsor, but I just wanted to give you
Yes.
that. And
So I actually live really, really, really close to this coffee shop. So I'll definitely be using this.
Awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
yeah,
Thank
man,
you.
yeah. No, I mean it's just been so cool. And they were an early one that I went there, and I went there this morning. And I've got the
Nice.
coffee I'm sipping on right now. But yeah, just a testament to the giving nature of the people of Broken Arrow. I mean, I guess maybe it'd be a good pivot to backtrack a little bit, actually, and just say, what can you define tumbling for people who don't know what tumbling is? I know
Sure.
to you it's so deeply ingrained
Yeah.
in what you do, but
What tumbling is, for the easiest explanation of someone that doesn't know what it is, if you think about gymnastics, and if you've watched gymnastics on the Olympics, or if you have any understanding of what gymnastics is, the floor exercise specifically, when they're on just that open floor and they run across and they do a bunch of flips, and that right there, that portion of gymnastics would be called tumbling. Or if you think about cheerleaders that are on the sideline at a football game or something, and you see them do standing back flips, or they'll run out of the tunnel and tumble in front of the football players that are going to run out. So that is what tumbling is, and there's a lot of different genres of tumbling. You have what's called tricking, which is more so kind of related to like parkour type of tumbling, where people are flipping off of things, and a little bit more free flowing type of sport. But yeah, tumbling it's utilized for the sports that a lot of people use it for, cheer, gymnastics. There's also what's called power tumbling, which is kind of like a subset of gymnastics. But what we find is a lot of people like to come in and learn how to tumble, or they put their kids in tumbling to help them with their strength, their coordination, other aspects of learning how to use their body, even if they don't want their kid to necessarily do cheer or gymnastics. But like, for instance, I had these triplets at one point that came to work with me at my gym, and they were wrestlers. And they were like pretty high in wrestling at Broken Arrow, but their dad put them in tumbling so I could help them learn how to use their body and just control it in a different type of way that no other sport really teaches you how to do. But with tumbling specifically, whenever you come into TumbleSmart, we don't do all the other apparatus that you would see in gymnastics. So we don't have like rings and the vault or the high bar or beam or those different other elements of gymnastics. So specifically just flipping just on the floor, which we have trampolines and other equipment and stuff. But yeah, just
that's cool.
That's what tumbling is from our perspective.
Yeah. So who typically comes to your gym? You said parents who want to put their kids in tumbling. Maybe they're in other sports. Is it a wide range of ages that you work with? Do you have adults who ever come in and want to learn tumbling, or is
Yeah,
it
man.
Mostly kids, or is it?
I mean, we have everyone.
Yeah.
We start as young as 9 months. We have a Mommy and Me program. So the parents come in, they teach the kids, or our coaches lead the parents in having the kids just learn how to have coordination and how to crawl over things. And it's fun for the little babies to just have a space that they can just explore freely, and crawl over things. And we teach the parents how to help the kids learn how to do rolls and just get the feeling of flipping over their head and different things of that nature. But then we go all the way up into high-level training we have a lot of college cheerleaders that come and work with us if they need to get specific tumbling skills in order to be able to make the college cheer team that they're wanting to go to. We do have adults that whether they have former experience, if they're like, hey, I was a cheerleader in high school and I just want to get back into tumbling, or if they're just randomly like, hey, I want to learn how to do a backflip. We've had a lot of people that just literally want to learn how to flip because they think that it would be a cool party trick or whatever the case is,
Yeah.
So we have a very wide range of ages and people and levels, different disciplines within what they're wanting to use tumbling for.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, my only eye into tumbling was just friends who it was more of a party trick.
Yeah.
I have a friend who I grew up with, and since I could remember, he was doing backflips, and I mean, it was one of those things where he's doing a backflip in the back of the classroom, and the teacher's like, "This is going to get you nowhere." Well, now he's professional wrestling, like WWE type wrestling.
Oh, that's cool.
So he put it to use, and he did dive in high school too. So kind of how those crossover, a lot of I could see the sport crossover of just that when you're flipping, like the awareness you have with your body, and it's something different that I definitely don't have. I mean, I feel like I've tried a backflip on a trampoline, and maybe I've landed at like a trampoline park, but it's one of those things that I stay away from it. Maybe in the future I'll have to do a little series and see if you can teach me some stuff. I'm sure you could.
I could
That would
definitely
be
teach you
a
a
true
backflip.
testament to your
That'd be
coaching.
fun.
But
That'd be fun.
Trying to think. I mean, I would love to just talk a little bit more about just the Broken Arrow community as someone who's pretty new here. You said you wanted to end up in Broken Arrow. What about Broken Arrow? Have you loved having your gym there? Maybe go into a little bit of that.
So as I mentioned, I was raised in this area. I've been here my whole life. There's a lot of people that, when they grow up, they're like, oh, I want to get out of this town that I grew up in, and I want to go to the East Coast or the West Coast, or they have dreams of doing something different. That was never my situation. Like I've always loved this area, and there was no reason why I ever wanted to move. And it's been cool to see the growth, as you would imagine. Being here for 30 plus years, it's been, gosh, I mean, Broken Arrow has grown so much, and it's become such a cool spot. Besides, I think it's a good mixture of a lot of people I know that come here that may not be from this area. They're like, man, this seems like such a great place to raise a family. So especially as I've gotten more to the age of having my own family, I have 4 kids, and my wife and I, we love this, love the community, feel safe. It's not necessarily super small, but it's not super big either. So it's a nice little, in between, close to Tulsa. So all the things that go along with Tulsa. So yeah, I would encourage anyone that, if anyone ever asked me like, hey, is Broken Arrow a great place to live? Absolutely. Yeah. I love it. And I don't plan on ever leaving here or anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, my wife and I came to visit about a year and a half ago. She had a friend who lives in Bartlesville, so that was our only connection to ever think of Oklahoma, probably, besides maybe a couple country songs or something like that.
Yeah.
But we went and we checked out the Rose District, and we're like, my wife loved it. It's a Hallmark movie, a little strip there.
Absolutely.
But I mean, man, like when you talk about just raising a family, we're in a spot in South BA. We just bought a house actually down there.
Nice.
And we're like, it's developing, but it's got that it's not a small city. I mean, I think it's over 150,000 people in Broken Arrow, but it's got that it's almost got a small town feel in a big city.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've really found with the business community specifically is just people know each other. People know each other.
Absolutely.
and like you said, just the way that you carried yourself and you were able to get into that space just off of trust. I'm like, that's something that's really cool. And it probably happened a lot more a while ago, and for that to happen, closer to now is probably a little more abnormal.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've just loved the area. It's amazing. It's so cool to see the growth even since we've got here. I mean, the spot we're at, they're developing, and I'm sure there are some people here who are like, we don't want it to develop,
Right,
we don't want it to grow,
yeah.
but
yeah,
I love BA.
Well, to your point, I think even with the growth, there's still that feel of community. I know my mom, she lives off of basically off of Main Street, so right there in Rose District. And so she spends a lot of time on Main Street and just like connecting with different business owners and stuff. And anytime that I'm down there and I'm with her, like she knows all the business owners down there, and they take the time, to chat and to check in, and they all know each other on a really, they really care about each other. I feel like within this community, as opposed to some places where it's like competition, and everyone here is all about supporting each other, local businesses, and I love that. And it makes it a enjoyable place to run a business whenever you have that, and you have loyal customers, and it's a really cool feel to have that.
Yeah, and this is a question that, as a young entrepreneur myself, that I want to make sure that I'm asking everyone I talk to is just, I know there are a lot of young entrepreneurs in the area that I've seen starting businesses. Really, maybe they're striking out in the job market and they're like, I want to run something, I want to start something. I guess maybe a two-part question. Advice to a young entrepreneur, and then I guess along with that, kind of what do you attribute your success to? I mean, having a business that's stood the test of 10 years is, I don't know the exact stat, but I know most businesses don't make it to 5, right? So,
yeah, I would say one, just really being willing to be in whatever you're doing for the long haul. And this is just kind of general advice for any young entrepreneur. It's very easy to start one thing, and the beginning stages of it may feel really easy and excellent. Maybe not easy, but you get momentum going pretty quickly. It's kind of like whenever you're in the gym. Like if you're out of shape, you haven't been in the gym in a long time, initially you can drop weight pretty quickly, or you can gain muscle a lot quicker than if somebody's been consistently in the gym for a long time. Then the growth it starts to get a little bit slower. So my point is, whenever you start a business and it starts off as like, oh cool, this is good, but as soon as things get difficult, that's whenever people pivot to, oh well, I heard that this thing over here makes a lot of money, or this thing, I know someone that does this, and they're super successful in it. So they'll start that next thing, and then it'll be going really quick, and then they'll hit that wall, and then they go to the next thing. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I got to the point of having my gym, and I'm like hitting my head on the ceiling, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, because that's just the reality of being a business owner. Or being an entrepreneur. You're gonna get to that point. You're gonna have those sleepless nights. I still have those moments. TumbleSmart has been very successful, and we've gotten to a good spot. But it's just staying consistent with it, and not getting taken over with all of the things that you see on social media and in the highlight reels of people with their businesses. And no matter what business you're in, it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. So just sticking with it and staying true to what you want your business to be. I know there's certain key things within my business that I'm like, hey, this is what I want TumbleSmart to stand for and to represent. And so just sticking to those values that are true to you. And no matter what, you will be successful. If you stick with it, you do it long enough, you'll be successful in doing it. And it's a grind.
Yeah.
And you just have to keep going with it.
That's good. No, yeah. And this is about you, but I ran a window cleaning business for a number of years back in Minnesota, and that did pretty well. And then we sold it, moved, and we're like starting over. And I was running a marketing agency. I'm like, hey, I'm not finding as much fulfillment through just selling marketing services like every other marketing agency. And that's where the Best in BA stuff kind of came up. I was running a little TikTok page and posted a couple of videos, and people are coming in the door because they saw the video on your TikTok, and I'm like, that's so cool.
That's
I'm like,
sweet.
how can I help, some of these businesses who have been around for a while or starting up, give them a place where they can share their story, get their voice out there. But man, I hear you so much of like those early stages that you could either, be crushing it or it could be a grind to get to that point. But it's like the shiny object syndrome, I guess, in business
absolutely.
is so tricky, especially with social media and people closer to my age. I mean, I'm 25, where it's like you got all these traders, you got all these guys, TikTok shop, all this stuff where they're making money like overnight. I mean, I was just reading back through Proverbs, and there's so many Proverbs about money gained hastily. I mean, money gained fast, it dwindles. And just really taking a pivot for me of like focusing on like the people. Like, this is what I love to do. I was doing sort of a like what fills me up, what drains me. It's just going out and selling that drains me, but human connection, talking to people, it's like I could do that all day long. So and that's where I'm like, I'm still figuring that out, out how this plays out, what it looks like in the long run, but just trusting the process and just going for it, man.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad you say that, because just persistence.
That's what it comes down to, man. And you bring up the book of Proverbs. There was, when I first opened TumbleSmart, I had this little office in the corner of the building, and on a sticky note, I actually wrote down this scripture. It's in Proverbs, and it says that if you stay consistent in what you're doing, then you will work for kings or people of high status, right? And no one will ever be able to look past you because you're so good at what you do. So basically, like, your work will talk for you, right? And I remember writing that scripture on that sticky note and then and putting it on my desk. And whenever I first started, and as I was going through those difficult times and just going into my office and like seeing that scripture there on my desk, that helped me to keep going. And now I'm at the point to where I work with athletes from all over the nation and even all over the world. We had a kid that came to one of our camps, Camp TumbleSmart, last summer from Sweden. Wow. And I mean, I have kids that come in from other states all the time. I have a kid that's coming in from Missouri today to work with me, and we have kids from all over the nation that come here to Tulsa. Wow. So because I stayed consistent with just bring the best value, no matter what the money was looking like, the bank account was looking like, just trusting in the Lord and saying, Lord, I'm going to stick to this plan of what you've given me, this vision of having this tumbling gym, and I'm just going to do the best that I can, no matter what it looks like. I'm just going to trust, in the plans that you have for me. And I mean, now I'm at the point to where I have more than enough business that I could ever take on. Wow. So just staying consistent, doing things as if, you're working for the president, like no matter what, no matter who you're serving, you serve them at the highest level. So earlier you asked what would be some advice to, to young business owners. And I would add that to it. I would layer that onto it. No matter what, no matter the customer that you're serving, like, serve them to the best of your ability. And even if they may not be someone that's like one of your high paying clients, or if it's someone that's not necessarily going to take you to the next level, or even if they're a difficult customer. Because no matter what business you're in, you're going to have difficult customers, right? But you just serve them at the highest level that you possibly can, and that'll just teach you. That'll teach you discipline. That'll teach you to, in really integrity. To give people the absolute best, no matter what, even if you're not getting something big back from it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, just integrity and just seeing, and seeing your socials and seeing your storytelling ability too, and like, all of that is social proof for people to work with you. I'd be so curious. You have people coming from all over to your gym. Are they finding you on social media? Is it word of mouth? How I know it's been years in this space, but how have you built that name up?
So the way that I really got nationally recognized and started having people come from all over was I had this mom reach out to me, and her daughter was dealing with what's called a mental block. And at this point in my career, that's what I specialize in, which is, if you're familiar with when Simone Biles dropped out of the Olympics in like 2020, you remember the whole situation?
Yes.
So essentially, that's what Simone Biles was going through, was a mental block. So kids that are dealing with this mental block, to where they have all these tumbling skills, and out of nowhere, it's like they're not able to do anything at all. So this lady, she found me on Facebook. I released a course on Facebook that I was promoting. It was just like an online course to help kids that are dealing with these mental blocks. So this lady, she found this course, and then she sent me a message, and they were in Illinois. And she was like, "Hey, my daughter, she's trying out for college. In order for her to make the team, then she needs to be able to do her back tuck. But she used to have this skill, and now she's just too scared to do it. She won't do it no matter what. We've tried different coaches, all these different things." She's like, "Can we travel out to work with you?" And this is before I've ever had anyone travel out to me. So when she asked me if she could do that, that was a lot of pressure. I was like, man, I don't know, because what if they travel here, I'm not able to help the kid, and they feel like it was a waste of their time or a waste of their money. So I just left the message on red for a couple of days and just thought about it, and I was like, oh man, like, do I want to commit to this? But anyways, ended up saying, okay. We planned out 3 days she came to train here. So each day we had a couple hours of training in the gym. And by the end of it, the kid, she ended up getting the tumbling skill that she needed to make her college team. And then at the end of it, I just kind of on a whim, I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I interview you guys about your time here at TumbleSmart?" And the way that I was approaching it was more so for myself. I was like, this would be cool to look back on someday and be like, "Hey, man, that time that someone came from Illinois to come work with you, like, it was a big deal to me, right?" And so I had them. I interviewed Emily, the kid, and then I interviewed the mom afterwards. And then after I was watching the video, and I was like, I'm gonna edit one of these clips and just put together like a minute clip of some of the highlights of what we did. And so I asked them, I was like, "Hey, would you be okay if I posted this on social media?" And she's like, "Yeah, you helped Emily so much. We would love that. Please share our story." So I posted that. And then within a couple of days, someone from Texas reached out to me, like, "Oh man, my daughter's in a very similar situation. Like, can she come and work with you, do a similar thing of that video we saw, that girl that came from Illinois?" And I was like, "Oh man, this is crazy. Sure, yeah." So I put together a little package for them, and they ended up coming out here, super successful. Asked, "Hey, do you guys mind if I do an interview with you?" I did that again, posted it. Someone else saw it, and then before I knew it, I mean, gosh, at this point, I've had hundreds, if not even coming up on like 1,000 families that have come here from out of state to train with me or with some of my other coaches as well at TumbleSmart. So that's kind of how it got started. It wasn't even, I wasn't doing it for the sake of, man, I want to be this nationally recognized coach where kids from all over the nation or all over the world know me and come work with me. It was a very organic thing, and just posting those videos. So it just shows the power of social media, though, really, just not even doing it in a way, and doing it in a way to where I wasn't trying to sell my services either. Like, I was just sharing a story. And then people, they saw that and they resonated with it, and then they're reaching out to me like, "Hey, can we come train with you?"
That's so cool. Yeah, man, I think about it through like a marketing lens, and I think maybe this is partly why just selling marketing services in general to me was not super fulfilling, because we're all marketed to all day, like nonstop, right? So there's just so much noise. There's so much going on. And I mean, that's where you see a rise in influencers, but the creator sort of world, where and that's something that I'm finding and figuring out. How can I share my story of this? Because people connect with people, and people
That's
connect
it,
with
yeah.
stories. And funny enough, it was my buddy who wrestles too. He talks about, like, like WWE, like they're always building a storyline, and there's always like emotion, and people are watching because there's emotion behind
Yes,
it, and they
yes.
connect with the story. And
Yeah.
and when you're 90% of businesses, it's maybe a couple posts, and then it's buy this from me,
Right.
buy this from me,
Right.
buy this
Yeah,
from me.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I'm repulsed to that almost.
You'll
I'm
scroll
like,
right past that.
right past
Yeah,
it,
yep.
where like, let's say Not Your Average Joe's, they posted something about their story and what they represent and what they stand for, not just, hey, we have this deal on coffee, right? Because
Right.
everyone has a deal on coffee, or everyone has a
Right.
deal on services.
Exactly.
Or man, I could go on about that for a long time, but I do want to bring it back. Actually, I'd be curious, because you say you work a lot with mental blocks.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious what you love about that, because it seems like it's a deeply. I mean, you really gotta get deep in their head and like
Yes.
what's stopping them.
Yeah.
Break all that down and then build it back up almost.
Yeah, it's something that most coaches, tumbling coaches, completely avoid. Like, if there's a kid that has a mental block, they're like, hey, like, I'm sorry, I can't help your kid. So I host these, what I call fear management workshops, where I have 20 families that travel into me from all over the nation for their kid to work through this mental block with me, right? And any coach that I tell that to, like, dude, that sounds like my worst nightmare. Having 20 kids that have mental blocks all in the, in the gym at one time. But the reason why I do it is because the fulfillment that comes from it, it's bigger than tumbling itself. At the beginning of our conversation, I mentioned with TumbleSmart, we use tumbling as the vehicle to help build these kids' self-esteem and confidence and things like that, right? So with tumbling, with coaching, with these mental blocks, the things that I'm teaching these kids, so much bigger than tumbling. Like, the life skills that they're learning from it, how to be resilient and go through adversity and not give up, it's so much bigger than just learning how to do a backflip, or, hey, we got to get your back handspring again, we got to get your back tuck again. Like, yes, that's the byproduct of the things that I'm teaching them, but it's a lot bigger of a life skill that I'm teaching the kids, and that's what I look forward to. I know I've been in the space for long enough now where I have kids that maybe I worked with 10 years ago that will reach out to me. It's like, man, Coach Levi, the stuff that you taught me has really helped me to be resilient enough to get the career that I wanted to work for, or it's helped them learn how to deal with different situations and relationships, because I teach parent and athlete how to talk about when the kid is dealing with the mental block. As you'd imagine, there's tons of crazy cheer moms out there and gymnastics moms, and like in any sport, right? So a lot of times I teach the parent how to, I don't teach the parent how to parent, but I teach them how to specifically talk to their kid about tumbling. And when she comes out of practice, even if she didn't do the back handspring, this is the way that you approach it, so that she feels like you're her safe space, because she already has coaches yelling at her. She's got her teammates. They're like, come on, just do it. So you, as the parent, you have to be the rock and the support for your kid. And that's what I'm passionate about, is changing lives beyond just tumbling. And when the kid gets the tumbling skill, that's awesome. That's a bonus. So that's really why I do it, and kind of a little bit more of the way that I got into that specific niche of tumbling is, I think, just with the way that the compassion that I have for people and for athletes, even at a young age. I started coaching when I was 17. But whenever I would see coaches, they were like, oh man, just go over there and do bear crawls or push-ups or burpees if you're not going to do the skill, right? And I would look at it like, this kid's not just being rebellious and doesn't want to do her back tuck for no reason. There's something deeper behind it. And so I was drawn to those athletes that were going through that, really figuring out, like, hey, let's figure out why you're not doing it. Let's figure out how we can get you to do it. And something that I believe in truly to this day is, if a kid's not doing a skill, it's not that they cannot do this skill. We just haven't figured out the way for them to do it yet. And if we continue pressing in and figuring out, okay, let's try this method. All right, this doesn't work. Let's try this. Let's talk about this experience that you had whenever this coach yelled at you or put pressure on you or you fell on this skill, and then kind of unpack that. And then it's like, okay, this is what we got to do to get you back. Having the confidence in yourself, or trusting your coach again after they dropped you on your skill when they're spotting you, or whatever the situation is. And so yeah, man, at a young age, I just kind of became known as the mental block guy here within this area. And then like I mentioned, the story of posting that thing on Facebook, and then mom reaching out to me, and then it just kind of going national. So yeah, that's how I got into the space of specifically coaching kids that are dealing with mental blocks.
I mean, that's so cool. And it's just, man, like, just, you weren't trying to get into having people come from out of state. It just fell in your lap, and you just were you already had the things built up that you were prepared for it. You were ready for it. And you were, you're putting the content out there, you were sharing it. I mean, that's what's so cool too, is like, you can plan as much as you want, but things will come up, and then are you willing to seize the opportunity that comes? No doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my career has taken so many twists and turns. I think something that is okay. We talked about like shiny object syndrome, right? Within the space of what you're doing, I believe it's okay to pivot as long as it's still it complements what you're already doing. So like with me, opening up TumbleSmart, and then growing that program, growing the gym, and then my personal brand as a coach and as a performance specialist or mental performance specialist within tumbling. That's separate from just someone walking in taking rec tumbling classes at TumbleSmart. And then I have a lot of things that I do online, a lot of separate things that I do, communities and courses and things like that. That's separate from just weekly tumbling classes at TumbleSmart, but it's all within the same family. You hear people talk about multiple streams of income. So I have multiple streams of income that are all in the same industry, so they complement each other, rather than it's like, okay, I have this tumbling gym, but then I'm also going to start a food truck, like something completely different, right? And so I think that's something that's been cool to just see my own career develop, where I've been open to, hey, you know what, this is a little bit different direction than I expected to go, but I'm still staying with what I know and what I've spent time on. Because I mean, it was until I became well known as like the tumble block guy. That wasn't until, I mean, I had a TumbleSmart ready for probably 5 or 6 years until I stepped into that role in my career. So, but I was willing to pivot to that. But TumbleSmart is still going, and TumbleSmart was built up to the point to where I have coaches and I have staff members and people that are helping me run it. And my amazing wife, we got married in 2019, and she really runs the show at TumbleSmart itself when it comes to classes and everything. And we've put some amazing admin people in place, program coordinators, all sorts of different things to help support TumbleSmart, to where I can step back and look at it, be the visionary behind it, but then also do other things within the world of tumbling, be on podcasts and do traveling clinics and different things like that. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I would bet money you didn't get into it thinking I'm going to have multiple streams of income coming from this, and that's something that it makes me think of too. Is what are you going into business for? And that's where you can see people who are, I mean, I will say successful in business. They're making a lot of money, but they're just burnt out. They're exhausted, and it's what are we starting the business for? Is it with the goal of making a lot of money, or is it we believe in the service that we're offering, and
That's what
then
it is, man.
comes as a byproduct? Because you see it so much in business, and I'm I'm a younger guy, so I think of a lot of younger guys and gals where they're like, hey, I gotta pursue what this person did because it made them a bunch of money, and that's gonna give me freedom, and it's like. It's not though. It's not, the money is great. We all need to make money, unfortunately. But it's cool to hear your progression because you started with just the coaching and then it evolved and I don't know. Again, there's all these quotes but I think of. We overestimate what we could do in a year. You underestimate what you could do in 5 or 10. What I've found for myself with whatever I'm pursuing, if I'm thinking about the money or how is this going to generate money, like I don't know right now with the podcast with Best NBA how I'm going to make this sustainable for me. But I know that I love the businesses in the area. I know that I want to help people grow. And I love that. And I'm just believing that something's going to come from that. But when I was focusing on how am I going to make money with this? My horizon is like a day or 2 days, and you're living with the white knuckling trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? So it's
You're absolutely right,
it's
man.
cool to hear just like as you progressed, and then you have the capacity. Like I can't imagine like the first time you were able to bring someone on or having admin and just like
dude.
to free you up and just
Exactly.
the breath after. I mean, how many years was it until you?
Oh man, that I was doing everything.
Yeah.
Oh dude, and by everything, like vacuuming mats, processing invoices, teaching every class, every single kid that walked in the door. But let's see, 2015 until really, it was at least 3 or 4 years until like I brought other people in to start helping me heavily. And then whenever my wife, when we got married, she was working a corporate job and stepped away from there to start working at TumbleSmart full time with me. And then since she's joined TumbleSmart, I mean it's night and day difference. So I so grateful to God that I have such an amazing partner, life partner, business partner, and without her, TumbleSmart would not be what it is. And I always tell people, so what I'm known for, or like my social media handles and everything is the Coach Levi, right? So before my wife Christina, I was just Coach Levi, and then after I met Christina and married her, I became the Coach Levi. So she just like helped me level up to that, to where I am now. But yeah, dude, it is really cool. It's such a fun business to have because since it's a kid-friendly business, we're able to bring all 4 of our kids to the gym with us, so the whole family's there, which can make it difficult sometimes to get work done whenever your kids are there with you, but it's such a huge blessing that we can bring them along and they can see us work. They can see how we lead our team. They can see how it is to be a business owner, because if someday they want to be a business owner, if someday one of the kids or a couple of them want to take TumbleSmart over and continue, the legacy of TumbleSmart, they're able to see the day-to-day grind that we're able to pour our time and energy into and have them right there along with us.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, what just popped into my head is just like, regardless of the amount of money you're making, you're a wealthy man, right? You got an amazing wife. You got the kids, and they can be at your work with you, and it's just like, man, that's the dream.
That is, man.
That is
absolutely.
That is the dream more than another income stream, more than like that's so cool, man.
100%.
I would love to just maybe you said you're really solid in the gym with the amount of people in there, but what about the Broken Arrow community? How can they help you, help your gym? Like what right now, any events coming up?
Moving into 2026, our goal is to double our program, the amount of classes, the amount of athletes that we have, because we're in a position to where we have our program coordinator, we have our gym director, we have people in place and coaches in place to where we can take on a lot more athletes than previously where we were in 2025. So anybody that has any interest in doing tumbling, anybody that knows a cheerleader or gymnast, send them our way, and we'll find the right spot in our program for them.
What's the best way for them to get in contact with you guys?
If they would go to TumbleSmartAthletics.com, TumbleSmartAthletics.com, have all the information there, the number to the gym, and the different classes that we offer. We offer a free trial class. Like I said, from 9 months, mommy and me style class, all the way to adult advanced tumbling, high school cheerleaders, gymnasts. We service anybody that wants to learn how to tumble. We got you.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you, Levi. Thanks for being
man.
a great first guest.